What's up, guys? This is day 87 or 88. Let me check. It's 88. Okay, sorry about that. So I started off with neutral grip partial pull-ups. These, I feel like, looking at it, is like so similar to arm wrestling. Or like more of a direct, or it feels like there should be more of a direct carryover to arm wrestling than like regular wide grip pull-ups. But for some reason, didn't feel like I didn't like it that much, and I didn't feel that connection where I felt all of it in my lats, but like not my arms, which is a little weird. And I know that like feeling isn't everything or even like not important, but I try to pronate more in the grip because I think the grip is also slightly coming outwards, so it's more supinating my arms slightly. And I think pronating it made it feel more similar to arm wrestling or like a hammer curl at the top positions. But yeah, so 4 sets of 6. I think I did 8 on the first one because I forgot the exact number. So today I felt that 6 was not like crazy hard, but like a good enough intensity because I'm doing a lot of other stuff too. But maybe now I can increase the reps on this a little bit next time. But yeah, after that, I have low cable back pressure with the rep scheme of 12, 10, 8, 6, 6. So when I was just warming up, I definitely didn't feel super fresh just because I worked out pretty hard yesterday, and yesterday was the first day of me working out in like 5 days, so it's like my body is still not used to a lot of workload. It's always in that cycle of working out, taking too much time off, and it's hard to get my body accustomed to training every day, or near close to every day. But I did do bench on Wednesday. I did bench like 135, 155 for like sets of 5, and then I did 4 sets of 12 on dumbbell rows with like 60 pounds. And I know that's not a lot of weight, but that was solid like intensity difficulty for me. So I did that, and then on Friday, like I mentioned in the other video, or the yesterday's video, I pulled a bit, and then on with my friends Saturday I pulled a bit, like not that much, but just a bit with Eddie and Alex. Was it Saturday or Sunday? No, that was Saturday, I think. Watching King of the Table. So that's kind of what I did last week. None of it was on YouTube, so I wasn't completely doing nothing, but pretty close. But anyways. So I did my first set of 12. I think now I'm going for 10. And as I mentioned it in yesterday's video, I'm trying to reset it after each rep, which was good. And I'm trying not to use so much body momentum, and especially not to push off with my leg or my knee, which is hard to do when the weight gets heavy. It's like almost like instinctive, just because you're trying to move the weight and that's all you're thinking about. But I think overall, like, my form's not that bad. But I remember thinking that having the pulley at a slightly lower angle was harder, just because it's like pulling down on your arm angle more. But apparently it's easier, which like also makes sense. So instead of trying to like do like a mini curl, I'm back to just locking everything and pulling back basically. But yeah, besides that, I think I think one thing I was thinking is the weight. Like, I kept thinking of Zauer tearing his like bicep this way, and it was a little scary, and I didn't like feel like it was gonna tear or anything, but it was like straining pretty hard, and I just I don't know, just not feeling fully recovered. I get a little, like these like little freakouts while I'm working out. Same thing with yesterday. I felt like I was scared I was gonna hurt my pec, and all these things. But anyways, so these are riser curls. So I changed the order. So normally I was supposed to do that last, but like I said, since I worked pronation yesterday, it was kind of like I realized I wasn't gonna be able to like focus on it as much, so I thought I might as well do this first. And I was just doing it the way I'm more used to instead of from the low angle, because the low angle was like okay, but I thought what's not too much of a difference. I'm really not happy with how I did them, just because I was messing around with like different arrangements of the strap, and like so one of them is like more over directly over my knuckles, one of them more at the back of my hand, and one of them I'm like more like more range of motion on my reps, and it's like I wish I could have stuck with something, but either way, got my 3 sets of 12 roughly, and then so what I had left was I had 2 pronation exercises from the low pulley with the judo belt, and then I had hammer curls on the bench. And like I said, my like back and like the hammer curl muscles were feeling really strained, and I didn't want to go too heavy and like hurt myself, which like maybe probably wouldn't have, but like so I wanted to like give myself a little rest and maybe go a little lighter on the hammer curls. So I just did the pronation first, switched the order. So this is, I guess, more of a pronation curl instead of isolated, although I'm not too focused about the curl part of it. Like I'm not like going all the way down or anything, but definitely trying to engage my pronation, and I can feel it. Like it's definitely different than through your thumb holding onto something. Like my wrist, I was like kind of clicking in my elbow the whole time, but it felt good though. It felt like it was like almost like, how should I say, like fixing itself, like making a connection there. But yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned, but I was also, before I filmed all this, doing some left hand stuff. So my left hasn't been properly trained in a long time, and when I say long time, it's probably like a few months, like, but still for me. And I also haven't really pulled with it in the last like month. So like I did pull with it, but not as often, and the way I'm really unhappy with the way I pull with it, because I always like, even when I'm deciding not to pull, I don't like warm up, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna pull, and then someone like pulls me, and the only way I can hang on my left is to really commit, and every time I pull someone, it's like I don't want to just like give them nothing and give up, so I end up going like way harder than I should. And so it's like, instead of not pulling, I'll pull less frequently, but like super hard, and like still hurt myself anyways. So I need to be able to work more like more smart, and just better angles, not trying to beat people, not trying to pull someone super strong. But anyway, so the hammer curls on bench, I lower the weight because I was probably thinking probably should have done 50 today, because first week 40, I did 40, second week 45, but I was, like I said before, I was pretty sore and I didn't want to push myself too hard, so I just went to 40. Did it with both arms. Usually I would be scared of doing this just because I felt like it's gonna hurt my wrist. Scared of doing it both arms because I felt like it was gonna hurt my left wrist, but it kind of held up. And actually, I don't know if you noticed, but I realized, because I'm not trying to be too specific with my left anyways, if I supinate in a little bit, it takes like all the pressure off my wrist, and it's like still a good like arm exercise. So if you see here, it's like not fully supinated, but way more than on my right, and I think this is the way to do it for me to not hurt my wrist and still get some reps in. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have a match with this guy on left, so gonna do a lot of blood flow, just rehab, because my wrist has been bothering me for maybe like a month, and I think I definitely and I have My elbow feels a little weird. I think something is messed up with my tendons down there, and I can still pull fine, but I get in certain positions and it's painful, and it's not too bad, but it does indicate that there's something wrong with it, and I think in the long term it's gonna really hurt my strength as well. So just gonna do a lot of rehab like I did at the beginning of my channel. A lot of rise, cupping, just super lightweight, maybe supination with side pressure, lots of triceps, just try to get overall blood flow. So that's my goal for left, and I'm not sure if I'll post it. Like, my videos have gotten a lot shorter since I'm doing basically pumpkin training, which I promise I will stop soon, because I do want to compete both arms, and honestly my left is probably, maybe not right now, but used to be comparatively more competitive. So yeah, and what was I gonna say? I can't really remember. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys.